What's happening, guys? Dan Debenham here, and today we are going to make stuff float. Welcome back, guys, and today we are talking about making stuff float in photography. So you see these really arty images where people have got things floating in the mid-air and what have you, or they've got cameras floating or whatever. We're going to use a coffee cup because, well, A, because I like coffee, but B, because it's got a nice little handle on for this particular example, so we can sort of use that coffee cup. What you need for this is two things really. You can do it a couple of different ways, but the way we're going to do it today is we're going to use this, which is a extendable bathroom curtain pole, which has cost me about £5. Not sure how small your shower would need to be for it to be 50 centimetres. I don't know, I've never seen a shower so small, I don't think. But anyway, you need that, and what we also need is we need some fishing wire. Good old fishing wire. This is 100 metres. We aren't going to use it all. That would be very, very high to get, well, it would be 100 metres high to get it sort of here. So what we're going to do is, first thing first, let's show you how we go about doing it. Okay, so as I said before, there are a couple of different ways of doing this. Sure, you can get your cup, you can go outside and you can just chuck it up and down, take photos for us, 200 times. Until you get the photo that you actually want. And sure, if I'm out and about and I've got nothing to hang anything from, I can't hang it from anywhere, then yeah, of course I'll just stand there and chuck it up and down until I can, until I get the right shot and I get the right angle and all the rest of it. But there is an easier way of doing it, as we've said. We're using these. So what you basically have to do is you get your door frame or whatever you want to do, a wall or whatever it is you want to do here, and then we just tighten it up, extend it and tighten it up, and we stick it in between the door frame. At that point there, we then get our wire, and we just tie that around the rod basically. It doesn't have to be done in a particular way or any particular knot, or there's not a special way of doing it. Nobody wants you tying immensely complicated fisherman's knots and that kind of thing. I'm just going to tie three simple knots, or one simple knot basically, 3 times, and just give it a bit of a tug just to make sure that it does take the weight that we need it to take. From that point on, I can then shift it up to a level where I want it to be, and I can get my cup or my mug or whatever it is I'm doing, or whatever my article, whatever it is I'm going to hang, and I can see roughly where my mug is going to sit. So I can say, yes, sort of want it around about there. I want my photograph to sort of look like it's hanging, and it's in a way that I can sort of balance myself, or I can pose myself in a way, and then we just basically tie that off in the same way that we did up above. So first knot, we'll tie it off, we'll tie that out there, and then I'll just do the same simple over and under knot a couple of times just to give it a bit of space, like so, and then basically that's it, it's hanging. Now there are a couple of different ways that we can do this photograph. What we can do is we can use the timer on the camera if we want to, and we can make sure that we get back here in time in order to be able to take the photo. And let's just do that now. And then the other way we can do it is we can use a remote control, and we can use one of these, which is effectively a corded remote control for the camera, which will in essence allow you to just press the button and then boom, off you go. You've got yourself a photo, and in that way it is easy with these because you can position the mug to where you want it to be, and then you can let it go, do your thing, do your pose. So you've got the mug sort of this sort of angle, got your hand underneath it, got your pose, it's doing what you want it to do, and then off you go, click. And that's before it's turned round, you see. If you want to make it a little bit higher, if you want to do it a little bit higher, you can do that. You can just get this through here like this. Do it with one hand here. So that you've got that like that, and then you can then tie it off again. If you feel it's not quite high enough, you can tie it off again, and that's fetched it up a little bit more, fetched it up a little bit higher, and at that point you can just tie that round again, like so. Just tie that off. Just make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And then you've got yourself, your mug is a little bit higher up. And so you've got a little bit more space underneath, basically. So let's move on to the next step. Okay, so the next bit of the process will be to jump into Photoshop and just get rid of that fishing wire. There is a specific tool that we used for that. I've used it before. There are a couple of different ways of doing it. This, I think, is probably the easiest way. Let's get down there and have a look. Okay, so we're in Photoshop and we're looking at the image that we've got. We've edited it all up already from within Lightroom or from within Photoshop, even if you want to do it that way. If that's what you've got, that's what you've got. Go with what you've got. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the spot healing brush, which is the basically it's the Band-Aid tool. So we're going to go to the Band-Aid tool and we're going to zoom in a little bit. So we're going to put Command and plus on our keyboard so we can zoom right in. I'm going to start at the top, right up here, and we're going to just press the brackets key, which is a square brackets key, just to make our Band-Aid tool a little bit smaller. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do this a little bit at a time. Now, I explained this in another video when we were talking about editing things using the Band-Aid tool, using spot healing and content aware. And the trick here, excuse me, the trick here is to do things very, very slowly. So a little bit at a time. Don't need to rush these things. Don't need to try and make a meal of it. Do it a tiny bit at a time. Give Photoshop the opportunity to be able to do the computing and make sure that it gets everything it needs to get in the maximum amount of effort it can put in. See, like there, I've done that a little bit too fast. It just wants to be a little bit slower, so I'm going to undo that a little bit. And I'm just going to zoom in a bit more. I'm going to just go over that a little bit at a time, clipping it one little bit at a time. I can come back to that and I can repair that a little bit later on using the clone stamp tool, which was what we'll do. But for now, we'll just carry on doing what we're doing a little bit at a time. Doesn't have to be particularly rushed. We don't want to rush it. We want it to be a good job, and we want to see and make sure that things are absolutely as proper as they can be. So tiny bit at a time, just keep on it. As you can see, slowly painting away that wire. Okay, and we can see that we've got the knot and we've got the tie on the mug as well. So we're going to zoom into that just to make sure that we're actually in a position where we can see what we're doing. Zoom right in. We're going to make our brush a tiny bit smaller again, just so that it's only matching out the pixels that are very, very close to it. And we're just going to keep painting until we get rid of everything. And that's basically what we're doing. We're just painting out the wire effectively, and we're making sure that it looks like it's been floating, but actually it isn't floating. We know that it's got a wire there, and that it was actually all smoke and mirrors, all a little bit magic. And there we go, just take that off a little bit there. Okay, we'll zoom back out just to see what that looks like. I can still see a little bit of that wire, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clone stamp that out. So we'll make the clone stamp tool smaller. Again, close brackets, hit the Alt key, grab something nearby. We're going to change the hardness of this to 100% because we want to make sure it's a nice clean edge. Hit the Alt key and then just right over the top of it. Like so. And we'll do the same here, just there, see a little bit there, get rid of that. Come back out, and then we'll go back up to here. We'll just get that, and we'll just drop a tiny bit of that over the top of there. And if I just zoom back out, as you can see, we've now done that image. It now looks like that mug is floating. You can see a little bit of the coffee in the cup, so you can see that it's actually got coffee in it. And that's it, basically, all done. We can now crop it, put it on Instagram, and it looks absolutely amazing. It'll look cool. Everybody will be like, whoa, what did you do that for? How did you do that with coffee in your cup? That was pretty cool, pretty brave. We know, between you and I, there's actually a wire in there, and we've just photoshopped that out. So if you did like this tutorial and you thought it was fun and you enjoyed it and you think you can use it, please do like and subscribe below, and leave a comment, and hit the bell notification. Make sure that you get updates in the future to other videos that I'm doing, and I'll see you guys next week.